Hi there, I'm Amara Parks. I'm a musician, among other things, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to plan a wedding in 2.5 months or less. So the reason I can talk about this is because I did it. Just recently, I married my husband, Marshall, and we got engaged on April 7th, and we got married on June 20th. So we had about 10.5 weeks to get everything planned and rolling, and it was a little bit difficult, but we did it, and it wasn't too bad. So there are many different reasons you might want to get married faster, whether someone's leaving or going somewhere, or you just want to be married and there's no reason to wait. I'm going to give you some helpful tips from my experience to do so on a budget. We were really blessed to have a lot of people helping out, and I know there are some things that I didn't take into account into my pricing that family paid for, but that's something I'll never really know the numbers for, and that's something that they gave as a gift. So for us, it was less than $5,000 to have a nice wedding with a photographer, videographer, DJ, food, and everything in the works. So what I would say the very first thing you should do is sit down with your partner. You just got engaged, you're so excited. Sit down with your partner and write down what are your priorities. Each of you can have one or two priorities for your wedding day. For me, my priority was capturing it visually, so photography/videography. And for my partner, his priority was the food. Not that it had to be so nice, but that there was plenty of it and that his guests could enjoy it. So we decided that those are our priorities as a couple for the wedding day. Those are the things that we spent the most on, that we spent the most time thinking about. And then we also talked about some things that we didn't really prioritize, things that are maybe even traditions or things that are expected at a wedding, but that we just didn't care much about, such as a wedding cake. We didn't have this big wedding cake or cutting, or we didn't throw cake in each other's face. But we talked about these things in advance so that we would not have to address them in the planning process, at least with any vendors. That was really key in our planning process to help things go a lot smoother, so I highly recommend you do that. Talk about your priorities and the things you don't really care about. If you are interested in planning a wedding on a budget, there are a few things you can do that can really help with that. First of all, use family and friends with skills in trades. You don't want to hire people who are close in your family because you don't want those people working and you want them to be present during your day. But if you have any friends or family who are a little more distant, that would be a great help to you on your wedding day, then reach out to them for photography, DJ, videography, food catering, kitchen work, anything like that. Reach out to them. Oftentimes, those family and friends are willing to work for free or for a low price, in which case you can easily hire them on without having to spend too much. But in my experience, it's always best to pay them a little more than they expect, just so that they feel really blessed at the end of the day. As well as using family and friends, it's really great to use vendors or photographers or videographers or whatnot who are building their portfolios. So people who are new in business and kind of building up their experience. They've done stuff before, but they're still kind of establishing their full professionalism. Definitely utilize that if you're willing to. We utilized that for our videographer, even though he's absolutely incredible and I had no doubt in him. He was just aware that he was still building his skills and his inventory, and so he wanted to charge us a little less than maybe most videographers would. So it's great to find those opportunities, and they save you lots of money. One thing that saved us a lot of money as well is we didn't cater our event. We actually bought from a bulk food company in our area that supplies local restaurants, and we were actually able to buy prepared food. So it was similar to catering, but we bought the food the day or two before the wedding, brought it to the event center, and we're ready to go. And it was so much more affordable than any form of catering or anything like that. I hear about some weddings where the plates are like $30 each, and I'm just mind blown. It does not have to be that way. You don't need to set that standard for yourself. Food can be great and a little more casual and a little more affordable and just as good. Another way to save on weddings is just don't look up venues that are known to be a wedding venue. I mean, they can be gorgeous and beautiful and have a lot of benefits, but if you look up other options, such as like what we did, we looked at a local town hall type situation, a city-owned building. Rent can be so low, and yet it can be a perfectly functional space that is beautiful and decoratable. and it can serve all your needs. So just look around for options that are not considered wedding venues, because those are always extremely overpriced. So even during the planning time, as you're focusing on all these little individual things and keeping it finance friendly, it's really important to take care of your emotional health and the health of your relationship. So don't get lost in all of the planning. Your relationship is so much more than the fact that you're getting married, though that's very exciting. And you want to still take care of yourself and your partner. So make sure you're having date nights or weekends even where you're doing no planning whatsoever, but you're just spending time getting to know each other more and just having fun together. You need that de-stress. Decide that you can have lower expectations. And that doesn't mean you're not going to have a great ceremony. It just means you're releasing some control so you don't feel so much pressure. When we feel that we want to control the details of our wedding day so much, it actually causes it to be extremely uncomfortable and stressful for you up until your wedding day and even the day of. So avoid that stress altogether by just realizing that you aren't totally able to control everything and deciding what it is that you care more about and less about. And one thing that we did is, as things came up throughout the week, things that needed to get done, especially closer to the wedding, and we were very tempted to get them done as quickly as possible, but they weren't as time sensitive. It's totally okay to make a list of those things and revisit them together when you both decide you're planning. And it makes it a lot less stressful if you just save up a list and then accomplish it all in one sitting rather than throughout your entire week. If you're interested in a list of things to do and when to do them, if you're planning for a wedding really fast, I can provide that. I did write down what we did every single week, and some things need to be done before other things and things you might not always think of. So if you are interested in that, I can make a video. Just comment down below. As you're planning, you're going to experience some stress. It's not necessarily that you're feeling negative emotion, but it's just that you're trying to accomplish so much, and so your body does release cortisol, which causes you to feel a little bit tired, a little bit on edge sometimes. That's fine, but a good way to manage that is to not overwhelm yourself. Don't take it all at once. Additionally, you should not be the only one planning your wedding. You and your partner both are involved in this, so hopefully you can work together to accomplish your goals. And if your partner's just not that interested or into it, check and see what their priorities are and lower your expectations so that you don't feel like you're carrying such a burden. Another tip for the emotional stress side of things is, if you are feeling so much pressure or all these categories of things that need to get done on your shoulders, remember that you do have help. You've probably heard it a few times, whatever you need help with, I'll help you. Let me know if you need anything. But sometimes it's hard to release things to people or to remember that when the time comes rather than just do it yourself. So what I was able to do is actually give away a couple categories of things to my mother, my mother-in-law, and other people who are interested in helping. I was able to give decor totally away to my mother-in-law, and I was able to give flowers away to my mom. I barely had to think about it. I just gave them some information about what I was looking for and let them take off, and they did so amazingly, and I was not disappointed. So just realize you're not in this alone, and please take advantage of the help that people are offering. Another practical tip is it's really nice to assign certain tasks to a few key people in the group who are coming to your wedding. I had a few categories. I had a kitchen and food, I had a setup, takedown, and cleanup, and I had decor. And I assigned those 3 things to 3 different people: my mother-in-law, my dad, and a family friend. And I gave them each information and schedules to follow and told them, of course, you can move within these schedules, but this is just for your convenience. And I informed the people at the setup and takedown that those people would have all the information they need and all the questions that they have answered. So I was able to direct some questions away from me so I wasn't overstressed. It's really important to take the pressure off of yourself throughout planning and throughout your wedding day. So a lot of these tips could apply to weddings in general, but when it comes to the amount of time that you have, just remember, a lot of times engagements that are more than 3 months are a lot of fluff time. I mean, the only difference is 2 months or less is you're pretty much working most weekends, or most weeks you're doing work. Whereas when you have more time, you're able to space it out and not feel that it's so compressed, and you're able to change your mind and back out and switch your plans. that's not something you're going to be able to do when you have less time. So just make sure you know what you want and you don't try and over-accomplish. I have lots more videos like this coming your way based on my experience over these last 6 months. So if you have any questions related to this, I can answer them in the comment section or with another video. And stay tuned for more that I'm working on shortly. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day. I had a few categories. I had kitchen and food. So whatever your reason is that you might be rushing this wedding, whether it is how to, there are some things you need to know to there's a few different areas you need to take care of in this situation. No.